Hey all, Joe here with All Funnies and Games, and today we're going to be continuing our facial features tutorial. So last time we looked at some pretty simple cartoony ways of doing eyes. This time I'm going to look at doing a little bit more detail on the eyes. So where I want you to start, 2 parallel lines, and then at an angle to those, 2 more parallel lines. Okay? Now just look at this here. Alright, this gap we've got right here. Pick a spot about 1/3 of the way through it. And then on this gap here, pick a spot about 1/3 of the way through that. That's not quite 1/3. This is going to be a little bit intimidating. Really, I want you to look at this, I want you to see what I'm doing, and then from here, you can kind of fudge it a lot. This is just some structure to help you start out. So, start drawing the top of the eye along this line here. This point right here is where the corner of the eye is going to be. So try and follow this for most of this length and then sharply come down to that point. Follow this for most of the length of here. From this point to this point, just a slight curve to the line, but get it down to that point. And then cut it across right here. So that's vaguely about the shape you want for an eye. Once you've got this, you want to draw the eyeball in here. Now if you're doing a very neutral look, you want the circle in here to touch the top lid and not touch the bottom lid. There are exceptions to this, but those are for very specific facial expressions. And while you're starting out, this is a good place to begin. Okay, so you'll have the eye there. You'll want to draw in the pupil. So if you think of what a real eye looks like, you've got the iris. Now that is the part of the eye that gives you your eye color. Right? So if you have blue eyes, it's going to be blue all through here. If you have brown eyes, it's going to be brown all through here. Whatever. Then you have the pupil. Whatever color your eyes are, this part is going to be black. And now one thing that's really important when you're doing the eyes this way is to get some eye shine in there. One of the simplest ways, and one of the ways a lot of people will start out, is one big oval just right there. And having it cover up part of the iris and part of the pupil will make it look like that shine is affecting the entire eye. But you can do that, you can put one there. A lot of it's going to come down to what looks right for your style. So if you haven't really done this before, start with just a big shine right there. Okay? Have the pupil kind of curve a little bit at these edges here. This is one of those things I know that it looks right when you do it this way, but I couldn't tell you why it looks right when you do it this way. And the other thing is that the top lid is going to slightly overhang the lower lid. With all of that done, let's look at how this eye is going to look. Okay, so pretty basic eye, but that's going to give you something a little bit more realistic than some of the cartoony eyes. A couple of details here that are going to help you out a lot. On the edge of the iris, you'll see me coloring that in right now. Increase the line thickness. It helps give a clear line there and really give a good shape. Another thing you can do is with a tool like a pencil, really heavily shade up towards the top, and then ease off. This is going to give a secondary shine that isn't as sharp edged as that first one, but it's going to give that eye a sense of depth. Also, the upper lid is going to shade over this a little bit as well. And so this is a little bit messy, but hopefully it gives you some idea of the principles. Now, you don't have to draw that whole grid I drew. In fact, I would recommend you don't. But now that you kind of have an idea of what an eye shape is, just work with that. It's going to be something like that. Some great people who do amazing art will draw them very, very exaggerated this way. So hopefully this will give you something to practice until next time, and hopefully you've learned something that will be fun to work with until our next lesson. I'll see you then.